Dead Draw Gaming. Like no one ever was.
What's up, Dead Drawers, and welcome to episode number 87 of Dead Draw Gaming, a Pokemon TCG podcast like no one ever was. And we have a super exciting live episode for you guys today. So if you are hyped just like we are, make sure to hit that follow button because we're live on Twitch right now, or the like button down below if you're listening to this after it goes up everywhere that it normally goes up. And we have two very special guests today, and I'm going to introduce them first before my co-hosts. We're going to break the chain. Guest number one, Mr. Aaron Luckenbach. Aaron, please introduce yourself.
What's up? My name's Aaron Luckenbach. Just changed my channel to AaronLive after many name changes. I am a YouTuber, formerly PokeTuber. Trying to branch out into some live video. I was also one of the VGC producers at Madison.
And you did a fantastic job. Guest number two this evening, Justin Sommer, better known as PapaBlastoise. Papa, please introduce yourself.
Well, like Dan said, I'm Justin Sommer, also known as Papa. Pokemon collector. I was one of the producers and helped out with the stream at Madison also. And I'm sure you guys seen me around. Did a few pack openings and whatnot, and did a few videos with Aaron over to the side here.
And you guys, if you've been following DDG at all, these are two names that you guys have definitely heard throughout the years. And always, as always, I am joined by Danny and Darren. How you guys doing today?
Hey guys, Darren here. You can see me. See, this is nice. I'm doing really well. I had one heck of a day of editing. I can say with full confidence that we are going to have a whole bunch of regional footage on our YouTube channel very soon. It's exciting. It's very cool. Danny, how are you doing up above me?
I'm good. I mean, my mood is really good. I'm also still very tired, as I'm sure you guys all are, because it was a really long weekend. Right now, I'm just kind of like, I'm overwhelmed. Because if you remember last week, we were talking during our podcast about like what we were curious about. So I was very curious about what was going to happen after Madison, because you put all this effort into Madison and you're just focused on getting there. Now it's over. And now I was like, oh, what's going to happen with DDG? Like, is it just going to like blow up? Or like, how is the response going to be? And I feel like it kind of is. I'm kind of freaking out about it all. And my mind is just racing all over the place nonstop. And I'm also super distracted by the wall that is Pokemon behind Papa, because it looks super interesting. It's like everything.
Papa, why you leave all those plushes in the bags and not take them out?
I'm a collector. It stays in the bag.
I mean, I guess I have stuff that's like still in boxes, so I feel.
I mean, I have
Is that because you're too lazy to unpack it?
Ooh.
No. It's a monetary value type thing.
Dan, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. I just so many things to say after the weekend. The charity stream, the proudest moment of my entire life probably, and being able to do all of it alongside such amazing people. This is probably the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
I brought you Taco Bell.
And Darren brought me Taco Bell, the new Taco King.
Ooh, eat that, Hops. Get wrecked.
Rip Kyle.
There's two Taco Kings? Double Taco King.
Oh, yes.
All right. Hey, guys, to the second power. Hey, guys, squared. All right. Well, you guys probably are interested in what we're going to be talking about today. Mm-hmm. So we have a pretty diverse, I would say, agenda today. It's all about Madison. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Because we don't talk about that enough.
No. Well, we probably won't talk about it for a long time. But We are going to start out this week like we do every other week with some Pokemon news. Then we will jump into the competitive recap of Madison, our vending booth recap of Madison, the stream recap of Madison, the team stage recap of Madison, and then our open discussion and our rep. So let's go ahead and get started right quick. Darren, let's start with you.
Hold on.
Oh.
After every segment, we'll take Q&A. So
Yes.
if you have questions or anything like that, you can just throw them in the chat and we'll get to them as soon as we can. Hi, man.
Hi, man.
Or wife.
And wife. I am man.
Or baby.
These are wives.
Cool.
But yeah,
All right,
Q&A
Darren,
about
take it away.
Yeah, go ahead, Darren. We got it.
Okay, so I got distracted by man and wife. We're talking about news first, right? Like usual.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Let's jump into Pokemon Go. The biggest thing is that Ho-Oh is leaving us ASAP. Like by the time you are listening to this, if you're not listening live, shiny Ho-Oh raids will be no more, very likely.
Great.
Yes, it's sad. Danny, you were telling me that you did your first raid attempt?
Yeah, so Jack and Aaron and I got to Madison a little bit after you did, but still too early to go into the actual venue. So we went to go get Starbucks, and Jack was like, "Oh, let's play Pokemon Go." And I was like, "What's that?" Because I haven't played it so long. But we caught a few Alolan Executors, and then there were just raids going on all over the place. And Jack was like, "Oh, get out your raid pass." And I was like, "I don't know what that is even. I don't have any." And then we stopped at a gym quick, and he's like, "This is how you get a free raid pass." And then we battled this 48,000 CP Ho, and Aaron's at level 2-ish. And I'm only at level 23, and that Ho obliterated us hardcore.
Mind you
We gave up.
guys, this is when Papa, Darren, Adam, and I were setting up everything inside the booth.
Yes, that would be correct.
We were working
That
hard.
would be very correct. Mm-hmm. At least you didn't have to drag in those arcade games.
That's true.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
That made up for it tenfold.
I did carry in a couple of those arcade games.
Okay, well, Aaron and I had to carry in 12 of them, so we win or lose.
I think it's, you know what, we should actually just pack up the podcast right now and go get the Ho-Oh so we have time.
Well, what do you do? I mean, I wonder what raid boss is going to take its place. I haven't seen anything yet.
Rayquaza or bust.
It could be. It really could be. For all of our, more casual Pokemon Go players, Articuno is now up and live, and I don't have mine yet. But all you need to do is log in 7 days and do a research on one of those days during the month of June, and you can catch yourself an Articuno.
Busted.
That'll be good.
Articuno.
Yes. And my last bit of Pokemon Go news that I want to talk about today is ARKit 2.0 was announced. So ARKit is Apple's platform that Pokemon Go is built on. It's the framework for AR Plus on the iOS, and there's some new things coming that can be really big for Pokemon Go. So we have improved face tracking, realistic rendering, 3D object detection, persistent experiences allowing developers and AR players to leave objects around the world for others to explore, and shared experiences, aka AR multiplayer. So
Ooh.
there's no time frame on when these things would be integrated into Pokemon Go, but it could be sooner than you think because Niantic has been growing over this past year, and I mean they're bigger than ever, and I can't believe they wouldn't want to hurry up and add multiplayer to Pokemon Go.
Well, you'd probably imagine it would come with the Pokemon Let's Go release, right?
Gosh, that would be perfect. That'd be amazing if they can make that happen.
Yeah, they talked about Let's Go obviously having a multiplayer functionality, so it would make sense that it would be integrated at some point. Maybe it'll happen during Pokemon Go Fest if they can get it ready to go.
Yeah.
Fest.
Oh my gosh.
That would be super cool.
Yes.
We had so there is some VGC news or Ultra Sun Ultra Moon news. Not much, and there's really not that much news this week at all, which is actually kind of nice because then we can transition easily into Madison and recapping that entire event as a whole. And I know there was a lot of like sprinkling of recaps from various people during the Nick Bailey charity stream that Dan and well everybody did was a big part of, but we'll kind of break it down a little bit more in depth and intensely. But first of all, the eighth and last on the schedule of the Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon Global Missions has begun. This Global Missions theme is to play in Festival Plaza by spending coins. So the goal is to reach 5 million coins spent by June 18th. If the mission is a success, then participating players get 2,000 festival coins or 4,000 festival coins if they have a Global Link account tied to their game. While if it's a failure, they will get 1,000 festival coins or 2,000 festival coins if they have a global account tied to their game. So there's that. And then some additional kind of cool news regarding Let's Go. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee will be playable at the E3 convention in Los Angeles next week. So the owner of Poke Beach, his name is John. He's actually going to be in Los Angeles next week at the E3 convention. This runs from June 12th to the 14th. So he'll be doing some live coverage while he's there. So that's super cool that it's already kind of available to be seen and played or used, tested. So I am excited about seeing that. And then finally, speaking to Japanese publication Famitsu, Darren?
Famitsu.
There it is. Which has a massive 20-page feature on Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and Quest. It features an interview with the Pokemon Company CEO, Mr. Ishihara, not going to pronounce that first name, who provided a few minor tidbits about the upcoming Pokemon game for Nintendo Switch due out in 2019. He reconfirmed that this game is due for release in the second half of 2019, will have better graphics than any prior Pokemon game ever has, and that it will be completely new and aimed at experienced fans, not like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and states that it will contain many brand new Pokemon. So that leads to speculation that Gen 8.
Gen 8.
Gen 8.
There it is.
Best gen.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Woo,
I feel
that's
like
exciting.
I feel like it has to
Yeah.
almost, right?
Yes.
And that was when again?
So the
At
second half
E3,
of...
right?
No, E3 is going to be Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee that they'll
Yeah,
have kind of like
right,
the
okay.
demo available. And then the second half of July 2019, he kind of hinted that, well, he said that there would be many new Pokemon, which that's the new game for the Switch that'll come out in the second half of 2019.
Awesome. Rip Danny. He is working on something probably. But you guys, we do have one super small amount of TCG news that was posted a couple of days ago here. We are finally going to be getting a new Battle Arena deck. This one featuring Mega Charizard X v Mega Blastoise. To come out with Let's Go Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. These cards are bad. We don't have the lists for them. There's really no way to tell if these are going to be worth literally anything. But it will come with 2 metallic coins featuring Mega Charizard X and Mega Blastoise, 2 deck boxes, a playmat, 2 sets of damage counters, a player's guide, and a rules sheet. And these playmats, they're like the paper ones, not the cloth ones that we all use like for playing and stuff. So it'll be cool for people who don't know how to play the game, and it'll be cool because kids will see, oh my gosh, Mega, and want to play it. But like, this is gonna do nothing for like the codes aren't gonna be worth anything, I would imagine, because they're not gonna come with any sort of staples or anything, I'd bet. But new Battle Arena boxes.
I wonder why they're not coming out with any staples for this. Like, why would they choose Mega Blastoise and Mega Charizard when there's so many more playable cards that are in the format that could actually come in beneficial? Like, we did have people come to our booth and ask for like theme decks and stuff like that because there was a lot of like kids there who hadn't played before, and I just feel I don't want to even sell them something like that because I just don't feel right about it. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be one thing if I was selling them 60 cards to just collect, but if they want to actually learn to play the game, just go on PTCGO and play with, like, the cards that you get on PTCGO when you just start an account is better. I don't know.
I might see these at Pokemon League. Probably not, though. You know, when most people come in and they say, hey, I want to learn how to play, I have pre-made decks that are good for beginners, made up. And, boy, they sure aren't these. I guarantee it.
They'd be better than these.
Yeah, pretty much.
Papa, we don't have the lists for him yet. So, no idea what's going to be coming. What we do.
Also, Papa, you do know you're on the podcast, right? You can just ask. Like, you're right next to us.
I just didn't want to talk over you guys.
Oh, we do it all the time.
But now, were any of the EXs before actually that playable? I just remember buying them just to get the staple items and trainers.
So they weren't playable when they came out, but they were used to be playable, right? So like Rayquaza, Keldeo, Genesect, and Landorus.
But it was the Dragon Rayquaza, wasn't it?
Yeah, but all those cards were still super good. So
wasn't there a Darkrai one? Or
was it
yeah, that was
Darkrai
good.
Mewtwo, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were both good.
So yeah, like I mean, I would much rather give any of those away to some kids than
Oh,
Mega
yes,
Charizard and
definitely.
XP Mega Blastoise. So yeah, the Keldeo V-Ray deck is definitely the most valuable pre-made product to ever come out. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, especially since you can actually use the cards. Like the World Champion decks are kind of nice for learning too, especially for jumping into like the competitive scene. But it sucks because you can't use those in tournaments, right? Or any kind of sanction play. But I mean, those are really nice too. So.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's our TCG news.
Yeah, the whole one item. So much.
Isn't that sad?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it works out really well this week, obviously, but
Yeah, with all the different things that we have going on to talk about. Unless Aaron and Papa, you guys got any Pokemon news that we don't know about?
news me.
No.
Unnews me.
Nothing here.
All right. So next then, you guys, we're not even going to do a Q&A on this part because there's just nothing to talk about. So next up, we got the competitive recap. So this was I feel like
Unexpected?
no, I don't feel like it was unexpected, honestly. I mean, Baby Buzz was unexpected, but just the I clicked on the wrong thing here. But just the format in general, a lot of Buzzwole, right? Like that's what we expected was Buzzwole.
Yes.
So, Igor Costa winning his third regional of the season. Pretty huge with that Buzzwole
So
Lycanroc, and taking advantage of the baby Buzzwole. We had 5 Buzzwole Lycanroc in top 8, 1 Ultra Necrozma Malamar, 1 Buzzgarb, and 1 Greninja. So 6 Buzzwoles. So safe to say Buzzwole is pretty good.
Yep.
So I know we were all pretty busy with the streams and the booth and everything, so we didn't get a real chance, I think, to kind of talk over everything. But the Baby Buzz was unexpected. Like, the dominance of Buzzwole overall was not right, which I think was all like. And there was quite a bit of Greninja being played. I don't think we saw a ton of it in day 2. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I went down too far. 4? 4 in day 2, which I guess is quite a bit still, but
That's not bad.
yeah.
I think it's more than what was anticipated. I think that, I mean, there were definitely some surprises. It was really disappointing that, so he streamed Alone Executor for round 9 for the second time of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And they went into a draw situation. Like, that's just, that's awful. I don't know. Like, how do you let that happen, I guess?
Yeah, the
It would have
Alolan
been so
eggs.
cool to
does
say that we had an Alolan Executor in the
oh
top 32.
man, that would have been so fun. But Zach Zamora was the guy playing it. He ended up at 44, so top 64 with it, which I still feel like is pretty huge. Outside of that, not a whole lot of surprises. We had a couple of Lapras.
Yeah.
Both in day 2, which Lapras is something that people talk about, but I feel like no one takes it seriously. Would that be?
Well, I don't know if I'd necessarily say nobody takes it seriously. I mean, Limitless wrote an article about it probably maybe a month ago now, and that's what kind of stemmed Drew Can's follow-up article regarding it. And I know he was high on it, and then Caleb took it and played it down in Mexico, and it didn't work out well for him at all. So he kind of dropped the deck altogether, and then wrote about it last week, or not wrote about it, but did his deck lab on it last week for our YouTube channel. And I think it just wasn't anticipated to keep up with the competition. And it's kind of the older version with Max Elixirs and Aqua Patches and Manaphy and things like that. But the list was, I mean, the group of guys that played that list was all from the same testing area, and they took a chance and it paid off for them. They did really well. There's not much you can do about Buzzwoles running around like crazy and dominating the format, like completely dominating the format. I mean, when you have 5 of 8 decks in the top 8, it's not even fun. You know, it's not even fair. And the variants that were there in top 32 that were Buzzwole, there were some differences, but a lot of the lists were very similar.
We got a comment from The Flea. Says it's not common that 75% of the top 20 players all play a list that's basically the same. That was the driving force for so many Buzzwole. Buzzwole's still unfavored versus Squids, but no one wanted to play Squids because of the fear of Zoroark. So I'd say some good insight from a pretty good player.
But I mean, even then, like, is using the regular Necrozma or like even Ultra Necrozma, doesn't that help like enough with the Zoroark matchup to where you'd rather play that? I don't know. I still feel like that's a good enough matchup to, and I could be wrong, but I feel like that should be a good enough matchup to where that wouldn't matter.
So I've played one game with Ultra Necrozma Malamar, and it was at your house.
I was there.
On one. Yeah.
That was stupid.
Aaron got his booty kicked.
Dan, did you win that?
So Brett dropped, Aaron lost, you dropped, so yeah, I won.
Wow, congratulations. Anyway,
Yes.
we're talking about a dumb draft that we played the other night. It wasn't
opened dumb, it was fun.
I opened 2 Ultra Necrozma and got a Malamar. It was I won. If I had stayed, I would have won.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to competitive talk. What can Malamar do to fend off Zoroark? And so, regular Necrozma, it's weak to Psychic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's an option. It's not weak to Dark. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it's probably a bad matchup. I've never tested it. You know.
They're running Toxicroak.
Excuse me?
Yeah. It'll hit the Zoroark for weakness, and if you knocked out a psychic Pokemon, it does 70 more damage for a DCE.
Add more one price.
So in one shot.
What? Wow.
I was looking at it today.
Why were you looking
Nice.
at that today?
I was just opening packs. Don't listen to me, chat. Don't listen to me. I just thought it was an interesting card, and then when he said Malamar, I was like, oh, that's a psychic Pokemon. I could get knocked out.
Yeah.
Yo, how
Why
about
didn't anybody play Evital Mew?
Actually, though, why not?
Dan
See?
Missed opportunity. Evil Mew beats
Set.
Buzzwole.
maximum
Where you at,
sadness?
the flea? Where you at, Rahul?
Yeah, Raul, why didn't you play Evil Mew? You just
Rahul's-
Malamar onto the Squids and you play one Marshadow? Or onto the Eviltals too? Oh, it's easy
He's probably
mode.
like,
Rahul said all you got to do is add more one prize attackers, and then for Zoroark, you just go towards the Ultra version. And he said no one sent him the meme.
Well,
He,
next time. All right, every meme I ever create from now on, I'm sending your way. I can't wait for this to work out.
oh my god! Please play this at a League Cup, Rahul.
Actually, yeah, go win a League Cup with it. Someone's gonna win the Nick Bailey Open with Eviltal Squids.
Yeah.
have you guys had the time at all to look at like the deck lists or the decks that were played in the tournament to kind of see the breakdown? I wonder how. I didn't look, or I didn't have the time really to look yet to see what the Malamar presence was. 'Cause I feel like it was floating around a lot there. But I'm more curious as to see. It turned out that Lycanroc Zoroark was the better variant to play, but I wanted to see kind of how big like Necrozma Mew was.
So
I know Greninja was somewhat prevalent.
hmm I don't know about past day 2, which was top 33, but there were 5 Squids, 3 Ultra, and 2 regular Necrozma. Sorry. Okay, let's see. 1 regular Necrozma, 2 regular Necrozma, 1 Ultra. I don't know where I got 5 from the first time. So
Wishful thinking.
3 regular Necrozmas, 2 Ultras. I'm looking at this right. Yeah, 5.
Perfect. All right.
What so nothing changes now, huh? Like, do you spend the next month and a half testing to see if you can how you beat Baby Buzzwole before? I mean, we do have Sheffield, we've got Mexico, but other than that, there's really nothing that's standing in the way, you know, or that is going to give a really good idea of what you should play at NAIC outside of, and this was it. Madison was it. That gives you a good dose of what North America's meta is going to be like moving forward for the next month in a small sampling of cups, where a lot of players are going to be playing meme decks to kind of throw off the meta a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to NAIC and I'm playing, you got to assume Baby Buzzwole is kind of the way to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Nope.
To our listeners and viewers, Danny has become a plant sitting on a ledge.
Nah, I'm still on Squids.
Okay, fair enough. I just think that I don't know. I think that it's tough to look at other regionals like Sheffield, for example, where you'll see Zora or Gliscopod be a thing, and then all of a sudden, well, you're like, maybe that's the play, and then just get stomped. Because there were people who played Zora or Gliscopod. I know one person on our pro team who played it, and he got
Day 2.
stomped pretty good.
Lambasted.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're not talking about Jimmy Taylor.
No, Jimmy played Zora
Oh, he
Rock.
played Zora
but
Rock.
Rukan-
Never mind.
Yeah.
Rukan
Rukan.
Talking
played
about-
Gliscopod.
So did Chris, didn't he?
I don't know, did he? I didn't
Yes.
talk to Chris
Yeah,
about his
Chris,
deck choice.
Chris
Yeah,
Kemp did.
he
Chris
was-
Siakala
he was
played
pretty
Greninja.
sad. Chris Kemp, not Siakala, sorry.
Yeah, Chris Siakala played Greninja, and he started out really well, and then lost his winning. But Caleb took top 8, and lost to, gosh, Igor killed us over the weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When he won, I went up to him and I told him I was not happy with him at all. But yeah, so day 1, he beat Frank, And that Frank started out pretty hot. Like I think Frank started out 4-1, and then like kind of knocked Frank down a little bit, and Frank ran into a cold stretch. And then day 2, 7-2 is tough when you cut to 33 and 33rd is 7-2. Like you basically can afford one loss in day 2, and Caleb's one loss in day 2 during Swiss was to Igor, and then got paired against him in top 8, and then Igor beat him again. So Igor went 3-0 against Team DDG that I know of, and that was not cool, Igor. Thanks a lot. Ugh. But I think I'm pretty sure that they were playing a 60-card mirror. And I know Caleb said he did not do well the first time that he played him on day 2, and then in the top 8, things obviously didn't go very well either. But congrats to him, and then congrats to Jimmy Taylor, who was an honorary pro member for the weekend and didn't let us down. He got top 16, and he lost twice in day 2, but one of his losses was to Caleb because they got paired against each other on day 2. And believe it or not, Lycanroc Zoroark does not have a very good Buzzwole matchup.
Weird.
Yeah. So, rip the dream.
Didn't we have some matchups in day 1 as well? Like for a win and in?
Did we have additional? I know Chris had one. Chris Siakala had a win and in match, but I don't know. I mean, Jimmy and Caleb both did, and they won them.
There you go. Sadness forever.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Looking through here, I don't see anybody that would have. Austin got 54th, but I don't think he was on winning in.
I think it was just Caleb, Jimmy, Chris, and Frank.
Well, Frank wasn't on winning in either.
Oh, he wasn't?
No,
Oh.
He ended 5
okay.
and 4.
Oh, he was out earlier. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. We did it.
Go.
We talked about the competitive scene at Madison Regionals.
Did the best we could because we didn't play.
What do you guys have for questions about that? Did you?
It's tough. It's tough to get a feel for it for us because it wasn't like we tried to pay attention to the stream a little bit, but I guess we couldn't really because we were working the entire time. And usually it's easier to get an idea and understanding of what the meta is because we're at home watching the stream and then interacting with our team. Whereas, we got a little bit of interaction with our team, but for the most part, we were working, so we didn't get to see a whole lot. And then right after Madison was over, we decided that, hey, that's a good time to stay up for a long time and do this big stream. So kind of trying to prepare as much as we could for like a meta-analysis is really difficult, especially when you're not good players to begin with. So we already have that disadvantage. Yeah, so.
Well, I have a question for our audience. So what did you guys play this weekend? I know 9 out of Ben was there. Sierra was there. I know
Rahul was there.
Rahul, yeah.
We were all there. Not that any of us played. I played one game all weekend, and it was I played a game at LBS against Brian Hunter, and he was playing Flariados. That's the only. I played one game all weekend, and that was it. I got bopped real hard.
Shocker.
Zoroark,
Brian Hunter is really good at
Brown
format
Town,
stuff,
which
though.
is Buzzwole, I believe.
Yeah, it's baby as well.
So we got Browntown. We got another Browntown. Beast Box at a local cup from Double B. Wishes Naganadal was better. Yeah, I hear you.
See, Rahul, you should have just played Bulu. You would have been fine.
Then he would have mirror matched twice, though, in the first 3 rounds, which doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun either.
Rahul can win the Bulu mirror.
I hate Boo.
What? I love Bulu.
It's so inconsistent.
Eh.
It's so inconsistent.
Ben played Ultra Necrozma counters. So 2 Ultra Necrozma, 3 Squids, 2 Dawnwings, 1 Marshadow, 1 Mew, 1 regular Necrozma. Neat.
So I have a question for Raul since he's in here anyways. What is the advantage? And he played this deck, and I'm just kind of confused about it. What is the advantage to making the decision to cut down from a 2-1 Lycanroc line and a 2-1, I think it was 2-1 Octillery line to a 1-1? Was that an issue at all as far as pricing goes? Because you need that consistency, I think. At least that would be my interpretation of it. Because I think the list was kind of split, where some of them were playing the lines differently. Like I think Xander Pero, for example, was playing, I don't know if it was a 2-1 line or a 2-2 line, and then other people were playing like a 1-1 line. I guess any of you guys could answer that if you think you know the answer better than Raul does, but since he kind of played the deck.
I definitely don't know any. No idea.
I definitely don't know anything.
I
kept
Alright.
the extra baby Pokemon, but the other list opted for the 1-ups for a Regirock and a 4th Elixir. They focused on heavier aggression. I was scared of prizing the pieces. Perfect. I would also be scared of prizing the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some stream matches that we were watching that we were paying attention to where Max Elixirs were just not friendly at all. So I don't know if adding that 4th one in there is necessary, I guess. I mean, it worked out okay for Igor, so what do I know? Cool. Anything else about the actual meta, or do you guys want to talk about the tournament as far as it comes from our involvement?
Yeah, we can move forward.
Ram, Sam, Kika focused on thicker lines. Some pretty good names also.
Yeah, they're all okay.
Oh, Maxi Misser? That's a good one. That's good. Okay. Well, yeah, I think probably about time to move on.
Seems like as good of time as any to start talking about the booth recap.
All right. Well, why don't we start out just by going from the exact beginning? So we all kind of got there basically at the same time on Friday, which was super early. At least it felt super early.
6:30 a.m.
6:30 a.m. So one person who wasn't able to join us tonight was Purplecliff, or Jack. He met at my house it was like 4:30 in the morning when he got here, completely, awake still, unslept, with the idea that he would be able to sleep with Aaron and I in the car from 4:30 until 6:30, which that didn't happen.
Mistake.
Yep. Aaron and I went to bed at like late, and then woke up at like 3 something. Got ready, loaded up the car, made the drive. Took about an hour and 45 minutes to get there. Doors were locked when we got there. We Pokemon Go'd, and then Darren and Dan went in, and Darren had to go back to his house to get more stuff. And then Papa and Aaron and Jack kind of went and focused on the stream game, and we focused on the booth game. First of all, I want to ask a question, and I think we be honest here. What did you think about the location of the booth?
Suboptimal.
I liked the size that we have. It was nice for front to back space, but the location itself was not awesome. It was cool for when people wanted to hang out at our booth, but being on the opposite side of where people will walk in multiple times throughout the weekend, I heard, "Oh, I wish I would have come here first. You guys have X cheaper." Well, you probably didn't even know we were here until you were done looking at every other vendor.
Didn't we have a guy legitimately say, "I did not even know you guys were here," and he said this to us on like Sunday?
A lot of
few
people
different
thought we were
times,
like,
yeah.
they thought we were the prize wall. Like,
Oh.
how many times did somebody come up to you and say, "Is this the prize wall? Where's the, this is the prize wall, right?"
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, we're actually a booth.
Yeah.
I mean, we were the biggest booth. We had a huge space,
Mhm.
and basically we could do whatever we wanted with the space. I mean, we could have made it bigger if we wanted to, but we had this huge space, and it was like as soon as you walked in the doors, you had this long line of vendors sandwiched in between the doors and then on both ends of the doors. And then in the middle, you had the prize wall, and Top Cut was in the middle, right? Or no, it was just the prize wall.
Just
and
the stages.
Yeah, registration and stuff like that. And then at the back end was us, kind of by ourselves next to the arcade alley, which was slightly annoying because air hockey was like right next to us, and I felt like
It wasn't even air hockey. It was Pac-Man.
Pac-Man was also pretty annoying.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So many times. It just
But the
I
venue
had
opened
nightmares
up
about
at
Pac-Man last night.
the venue opened up at 1:30 this time, and I think last year it
1
opened up at like
o'clock.
3. 1 o'clock. I think last year it opened up at 3 for
Yeah.
VIP. So it was. I mean, it got better as the weekend went on because more people knew we were there. But at the beginning, it was like everybody was coming in, and you saw people coming in, and they were just going right to the vendors right when they walk in. And you can't blame them. I would have done the same thing. But it's like waving your hands, type, "Hey, we're back here." And things got better when like our team got there and people saw more people migrating to the back. But it was just kind of like, here we work on getting this like amazing setup, and we're just kind of separated, which was. I don't want to say it was annoying because it wasn't annoying. I preferred having the space that we had because it was better for us. There was just nothing we could really do about the situation, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, space was perfect. Location, like Darren said, suboptimal.
Yeah.
So
Other than location, our booth was, I think,
Amazing.
best.
not biased at all. Same.
No way. Everybody in chat needs to say the exact same thing. And so should Aaron and Papa.
Mm-hmm.
No, but we had a super amazing variety. Like, is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about? The way
Yeah,
it was set
so
up and how it
We
looked?
had so much different stuff. Like, there were other booths that had cards for sale, had old stuff and new stuff, and had plushies, and we had Shayna's cards that she was doing custom card art on. That was super amazing to see. We had Kyle's deck bag, or I mean not deck bags, but mat bags. Those were cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a huge bulk box to just sift through. And not that makes us any money, but it's fun. It's just kind
And
of
it brings people to your table.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I remember hearing someone come up and say, "Hey, you guys, y'all have the best booth here," and boy, that just really puts a smile on your face, you know. It's
Mm-hmm.
because we put a lot of effort into it,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, of course, there's things that can improve, but it was awesome. I mean,
Well, I mean, y'all gotta remember too. Like we were almost finished setting up by the time other vendors started getting there. We were there so
Yeah,
much
that was
earlier
crazy.
than everybody else, like, which I did not understand at all. Why wouldn't you get there as early as possible to make sure everything is perfect for opening?
Right.
I don't understand that at all.
well, I think there was one vendor that had like just started setting up when the doors opened.
Yeah.
You got to think that's like against the contract, right? Like, aren't you supposed to be set up and ready to go when people walk in?
I don't think Jimmy sent out a contract this year for it, but you know, it's kind of a standard agreement that that's
Mhm.
going to be the case.
Well, it's
But
kind
yeah,
of
there was
it's a thing that makes a TO not want to invite you back the following year.
That's true.
yeah, I remember 10:30 rolling around. I remember the time when Aaron and I were asked to go help move those giant arcade games in because there was nobody else there to help. And I know
You
it was
guys-
supposed to be like,
Oh my gosh, you guys were sweating so much. It was amazing.
oh, it was terrible. I still have like cuts on my biceps. Like I'm still healing from them just digging into my arms as we moved them. They were so heavy. And Papa did help too. Also, I can't forget that Papa helped move. a
Papa,
couple.
how did you enjoy moving arcade games?
That's why
To be
he-
honest, after moving the heaviest one of them all, I called it quits and had to go back up to the hotel room. There was
terrible.
2 of them that were double wide. I can't even remember. One was Ninja Turtles and what was the other really wide arcade game. But they weighed twice as much, and I just couldn't get comfortable. You pull them for a while, and then you had to push them to get them the rest of the way there.
Oh, it was awful. But yeah, this was at like 10:30, and I think we were still the only vendor that was either set up or setting up. And then I remember getting around to like almost noon, and there was a vendor that had just walked in, I think, getting stuff set up. And I was like, holy cow. And I know that everybody looks at these events differently. So like we pride ourselves on trying to do things differently and creating something special and all that. We want to have this big weekend as far as sales go, and a lot of people come into the event and all they really want to do is buy cards. Like they come to this event with the understanding that, hey, I want to buy as many possible cards as I can. So the majority of what they bring is going to be like cold hard cash. And then they'll bring some cards, some sealed product and things like that, but ultimately they want to walk out with like 3 times the inventory that they walked in with. And we really work on that as well. But one of the things that we do, I guess, differently is, so Dan and Darren, and thank goodness for our helpers this weekend who helped out, like Adam. Adam was a godsend because he was just constantly in the booth working so hard. And then Annie and Clay, and then even some of our pro team who jumped in there to help sell cards every once in a while. Like that gave me the opportunity to basically price cards, put them back in the case as soon as we bought them. And I think that's big because you fill up these case spots and you just constantly are cycling in and out inventory. Like we bought throughout the entire weekend, but we were able to refill open spots. And you don't see a whole lot of other vendors doing that.
No.
Quickly, when were you guys allowed to pretty much take down on Sunday?
Well, technically, I mean, same thing. They say that the vendors are supposed to stay until the event is over. I mean, a lot of people leave when you get into top 8, right? Because there's only 8 people playing Pokemon at that point. It's not really like you don't need to be there. But we didn't start taking down until the stream was done. Like until after Igor won.
We were the last booth, and so we had everyone bringing their prize wall coins to us.
Well, and that, I mean, how many times you entered the league cup, right? And you got 800 of those prize tickets just for entering the league cup. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll take another $138. You know,
Yeah, that was super cool.
like thanks. Like, it was too easy.
I know when we're getting ready to head out there, I think it was about 2:30 at first when we were thinking about leaving. I already seen people ripping down their booths, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know if it was top 8 by then, was it? I bet it's got to be close.
Nah,
It was probably close.
And like I get that, you know, a lot of people travel. We didn't have to travel,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not really.
and like I get that, but I just feel like it's important to make those arrangements for you to not have to leave like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it was a little different because it is true that like the hall was a lot emptier than what it had been, you know, all weekend.
Yeah.
But for us, it's more beneficial. We couldn't leave because we had all the streaming equipment.
Yeah.
So it's not like we could be like, oh, let's take all of our stuff down. What's the point of that? Like, we might as well stay open until finals are going on, and then we can start slowly tearing stuff down, because then when that's done, then we can go over and start removing all the stream equipment. But there's no point in closing up your booth and then just standing around for a while the stream is going on, because we still have to take all that stuff down.
Very true.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a lot of like last minute stragglers, and the League Cup was still going on, and a lot of people hadn't spent their coins yet, so that was beneficial. I mean, the entire booth itself was really cool. The one thing, like my biggest regret would be our live IRL stream, which, you know, Aaron and I talked about a little bit during while Aaron was helping with the charity stream. But like, I want to get to the point, I think part of it was just stress and being overwhelmed with, like, we had some streaming issues, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, but I think it was more like that getting into us, and then just a mass amount of people, and then we just didn't interact as much as we probably could have or should have. But it was difficult to keep that on our mind. I think part of the time, like some of the times we just forgot about it because we were too busy doing other things, and then we go back and we're checking on the stream to make sure the stream is still working. And so you can see some of us like just staring into space at the laptop, like, why aren't you guys talking right now? Like, hello. And it's probably because we had the screen on our Twitch channel, making sure that the stream was going well.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed in ourselves with that, but I think that's just something that as we get more used to it and as we do more events, then we'll understand it better. But the layout of our booth was amazing. Like, we had plenty of room back there. We had 7 card cases, and when I was laying all the cards out, like, I was like, holy cow, how did we get so much inventory? Because we didn't even put all of our ultra rares out, and we had 5 cases full of them. And I was like, I can't put out all anymore because I need to have a couple cases at least for staples and more expensive older cards, because I want to put some e-readers in there and I want to show more of a variety.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a lot. And then we had our mats and we had our merch, and we just did what we could with that, but there was just not, even though our booth was huge, there just wasn't enough room to fit all that stuff in. It was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
one thing I want to jump back real fast. Even though that the IRL stream on the booth didn't work out exactly how we wanted, it will actually give us some pretty great content in the form of the many emotions of Darren video coming out here soon.
It actually gave me, I haven't set it up yet, but it gave me my new sub alert. Austin walks up to Darren and says, Darren, I made a sale. And they double high-fived really hard. Oh, it was awesome. And when someone subs, that's going to be the little clip that plays. I haven't set it up yet, but next time I'm live, you can bet that's what we'll see when someone subs.
I can't wait. It's going to be grand. That was an epic high five.
Yeah, it was super good.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's going to be of some use, because like Danny said, it was pretty big disappointment. I just didn't think it looked very cool, and we had no time to interact.
I think that if we can make it work, we get the equipment to be able to do that kind of live stream with a camera that we can carry around with the event with us.
Mm-hmm.
Versus having just a laptop sit at the computer or the booth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, 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 bam.
So, but do you guys have any questions? Sorry.
Other than that, yeah, while we're waiting, if anybody in the chat has any questions about the actual booth side of things, I guess Papa and Aaron, as far as like our booth setup goes, being more of a somewhat unbiased opinion, like, is there anything that you guys saw that you were like, oh, I wonder why they did it this way? Maybe they should have done it differently, or anything that you specifically liked? Because you were, Aaron, I don't know how often you walked around a little bit, but I know, Papa, you had a little bit more time to walk around, or at least made a little bit more time to walk around. So I just kind of wanted to get your opinion. I didn't go to anybody else's booth except for Ludkin's for a few minutes to talk to Charlie. And that was it.
I didn't go to any other booths, to be honest. I loved the plushes and the Japanese product so much. It was amazing. That's stuff you usually don't see, and it was just awesome being like up, on shelves that you could see kind of from out of the venue. Be like, oh, what's that? I'm gonna go check that out. I always love. I liked the merch land out there too. I think a lot of the draw is always the 3 of you, like your personalities really like create a friendly environment that brings people in and makes people come back. As far as the booth layout, I don't really have much more than that, but loved Love the Pokeball stuff. So
Nice.
I got around to a few of the booths. First of all, you guys were probably overall the best priced on the cards for sure. Having the variety of Pokeball plushes there was amazing. Next time, I think, being honest, try to get a few other varieties maybe. I mean, you had a good assortment, but there's a couple that I was kind of looking for that weren't there. The one thing that you guys did have that I don't think maybe you're the only ones that had were the dice.
Yep.
The TC Evolutionary dice. One thing after doing the streaming, the Ultimate Guard, we ran those ads. The ads were amazing, but I don't think anybody had that product at the venue. Which, if I think we had the product at the venue, would probably sold out, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
The interesting thing about Ultimate Guard stuff, at least from what I've seen so far, is a lot of their stuff isn't available for order through distributors. It's available only directly through Ultimate Guard, which is definitely something that we can address in the future. Like the Pokevault stuff and TC Evolution stuff, I agree with you completely. Like those were amazing. I felt like they actually sold too well, and I think that I was like, oh, maybe I'm in the wrong business. Maybe I should be in the plush business. So I was like, this is
Yeah, we
really
gotta
selling
set up a
super
person
well.
in Japan, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll volunteer.
it was definitely a draw, you know, and it was really cool to see everybody coming in and looking at all that stuff, and that is something new that we tried, and I'm glad that it went over so well.
And I kind of overheard a couple people asking for certain items possibly next year, like dice bags and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely something to take into consideration.
Yeah, dice
also.
bags, and then the other thing was like slim deck boxes versus like the regular sized one. A lot of people were asking for the smaller ones, which you guys can't see what I'm showing on screen right now, obviously. But yeah, like the one that Aaron has. Like, just this kind of thing. I got asked for slim boxes all weekend. They were like, where's the slim boxes? And I'm like, and part of that is my fault. I was supposed to go through and kind of get an idea on what everyone was wanting. And unfortunately, I didn't make it that far. So that one falls on me a little bit. But for the next event that we do, we'll be able to make a list of what we want and kind of have them send stuff based on that. So
by far the most requested item that I heard that we didn't have was sleeves, just regular old sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
That's an easy one to fix.
Yep. So just Ultra Pro or Ultimate Guard or whoever we
Yeah, the
end up
thing
working
about
with.
that, like last year we had a ton of them and we didn't sell any of them. So we decided not to order them this year, and we had some leftover inventory of Ultra Pro Eclipse and then a little bit of new inventory of Ultra Pro Eclipse, but we didn't get that much just because we didn't sell too many of them last year. And for the most part, I was like, oh, well, you know, we have all these extra sleeves from Japan, so maybe we'll go that route and see how those sell. And there's a lot of people who are just asking for sleeves, like just normal Ultra Pro Matte or Eclipse or Dragon Shield. Dragon Shield was a big question that I got over the weekend, but we didn't really have any of those.
Mm-hmm.
I had to visit almost every booth till I found Dragon Shield sleeves. Yeah. Okay, anything else about the actual vending booth side of things? Overall, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, I think. Just to kind of sum it up, I don't know, you guys can kind of say your last minute thoughts about it, but it was a lot of fun, just a lot of work, and yeah, I enjoyed. I mean, I enjoy interacting. Like, it's nice when people just come up and say hello and introduce themselves, and they're like, I listen to your podcast, and I'm like, oh, why? Like, that's cool. Because it's never going to really hit me and make me understand why we're 87 episodes in and there's people there but that listen, so that's really cool. But yeah, I had a ton of fun, and as exhausting as the weekend was, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Danny and Darren, both of you guys spent a lot more time at the booth than I did. I went around, got a chance to check out all the other booths. I spent a lot of time running back and forth between the stream area and the vending booth. But a lot of it was like, I think outside of some of the additional inventory we could have carried and the location of our booth, everything was perfect. So like those two like minor details, like other than that, it was perfect.
And dude, the merch that we went through, the Dead Draw merch, it was incredible.
Oh my gosh, the amount of people that was wearing the shirts that Aaron's wearing right now, just stupid.
Dude.
Yeah, that was
Like,
so cool. Just seeing all these people walking around wearing our shirts, I was like, wow, look at that. That's our shirts.
Like I was so happy. My wife actually came to visit. I didn't think she was going to stop by. And she got to see, while she was walking to the event center, all these just random people wearing our shirts. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. Samantha said the same thing. She's like, why are so many people wearing your guys' clothes? Because
nice.
They like us?
I like that question. That's my favorite question.
I don't know why he didn't believe me before when I said it. Well, I've just never seen it. Well, now you have. So, bringing the DDG shirt to Madison, yeah, or for NAIC.
Heck yeah.
Can everyone just wear their NAIC shirt? Even if you're on a different team, can you just wear ours instead?
Their DDG shirt to NAIC.
No, their NAIC shirt.
Or you make an NAIC special DDG shirt.
Yep.
Yeah. Like it, just fill up the center, fill up the convention center with DDG.
I love yes, that sounds great.
That does sound great.
Occupy DDG.
All right. What's our next topic?
Let's talk about the stream.
Stream recaps.
Yes, this is what I want to hear about. All right.
Yeah, let's let Papa and Aaron start, and you guys can kind of go over. So Papa came into the picture super late, and with literally no experience at all. I remember just talking to him one night, like, "Hey, can you run the stream?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can learn how to do it." And I just felt terrible because, like, Papa's a great dude, but when it comes to like OBS. Like, he's probably the only person, now he's blown me out of the water, but he was probably at that time the only person who maybe I knew more about OBS than, like, maybe that was it with Papa. And now he just flew way past me. So talk about the prep work that you guys went through, because neither of you were really invested in it for a lot of time before we had approached you. You know, it wasn't like you had months to prepare for it.
Right.
2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks, I think. Yeah. Papa's right on that. Well, we were kind of talking. I ended up learning I was going to be the VGC stream producer, which was something weird. I've never really learned anything VGC other than doing like a quick playthrough of the games. Then shortly after, Papa became co-producer with me. And we pretty much spent every night of those 2 weeks learning OBS, learning VGC, just so many things that went into it. I don't know, Papa, what else were we doing?
I mean, first of all, being honest, I never completed any of the video games at all. So I was going into it not knowing how to stream, not knowing anything about the VGC side of things. And knowing that I made Danny a promise that I would try to learn everything, and I think other than bugging Trainer every night, we did a pretty good job figuring things out. I still was learning stuff the day of about the VGC side of stuff, but I think we were pretty well prepared for the actual streaming aspect of things, other than when things go wrong.
Sure, yes. And that'll come up next. I think another thing in pre-production we did pretty well was actually having meetings together with the VGC casters. It was awesome meeting them. We actually had a little Discord where we were throwing up times they had to be there, you know, event layouts, planning, you know, what we could do in between rounds and who casted what round. It was all planned out beforehand, and that proved very helpful when it came to Saturday after running around all Friday, trying to fix everything.
Yeah, we each made a list, and that's one thing I'm always trying to do is be prepared for anything and everything that can go wrong. And I think that kind of saved our skin on a lot of it. But we had a list of what to bring, what we need, that type of stuff. We had a schedule. We did, like you said, we were talking to all the casters on the VGC side. So we pretty much had most of our questions answered going into it, really.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as DDG, what you guys would like us to talk about, where do you want us to go from here? We just did some pre-production. What do we say about Friday? Do we go right into Saturday? What would you guys like to hear?
So I think that you guys, there was no VGC stream Friday for anything. So
No.
I think the only thing that you guys, like, we maybe could have done, and maybe you guys did do this and I just didn't know this, is like make a, like, just a test. And this is something that we talked about already, but is to like make a dummy Twitch account, grab the stream key, throw it in, and do a pseudo test of how everything's going to look and run once it's actually up. But I mean, other than that, like, you guys did super well on pre-production of everything, so you may as well just jump right into Saturday.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, and going off that, before we got the new layout, Papa and I did do a few tests without an audience before anybody knew the Dead Draw VGC Twitch, trying to learn how to switch everything, and Mark knocked out Pokemon. But Friday morning, after setting up on... Yes.
We did run into an issue on Thursday night.
Oh, yes. Actually, that was starting to crawl into my mind. Do you want to talk about this, Robert? Do you want me to talk about it?
No.
Danny, do you want to go ahead?
I'll lose it. You get it.
Okay, so we had a capture card lined up to go. We didn't know what kind of capture card, but we had assumed, you know, since we were the VGC asking, that it was a 3DS capture card. Later came to realize it was most likely an Elgato, which will not work with VGC. So Thursday night we were scrambling around to try to get a capture card. So we finally found one, and it ended up working out, even though we were told that it was kind of possibly a faulty wire, faulty connection. But
you guys made it work out.
Yeah, we did. Like, next time, of course, we will want to make sure we have a 3DS. We were using a 2DS. Get one wire so there isn't any connection issues. That was one thing between each round. Whenever the screen froze once in a while, but this is going this Saturday now. We had to disconnect the cable and reconnect it real fast so that the connection would come back and the casters could continue on with the round. But yeah, let's go into Saturday. And Papa, do you want to start us off?
Where do we? Well, do we want to talk about Friday and any of the issues, or should we just go straight into Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday. Let's just go straight.
Okay. So Saturday morning, I don't even think we had everything. Well, being honest, I don't think everything was ironed out going into Saturday morning. So basically, I didn't sleep hardly at all that night. Got there right away when I could get in there. I think it was like 6:30. Got in there and got the two cameras going, which we never had an issue with those. The capture card was an issue, trying to get the software to start up with that, and we just had to keep unplugging and plugging, and it came up. And then I think we had a little bit of a sound issue on our side also because of headset that wasn't working. But about an hour and a half before time, everything kind of fell into play, and it just kind of worked out. First stream of the day, I was probably shaken because of nerves, but after we knocked out the first one, it just kind of ironed out, and then we started fixing little issues that we had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it ended up really well. I was actually really surprised by the skill and the vocal quality of our casters. They were a great group of guys, super fun to work with. I'm going to get their names up here in a second so I can give them all shout outs, but
We had Ryan, Trevor,
thank you.
Patrick, and Alex.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, huge thank you to them. They really set it up, picking the matches, and then getting the teams to us so that Papa could put them in before rounds, because that's the hard thing with BGC when you don't think about it is each of the sprites, both of the players, so 12 sprites in total, need to be reset after every single round before the round goes live. And would you say that was the most stressful thing you had to worry about during the day, Papa?
Pretty much. I mean, along those same lines, we did have one player. I think his first name was Paul, and his team was all in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a language barrier, but fortunately for us, one of the VGC judges could basically make out what the team was. It got us close enough, so we basically had everything lined up. And when they sat down and the startup screen popped up, we just verified, and there was only one that was wrong. We had a Tapu Lele down, and it should have been a Tapu Fini, but we were close enough on it where we could switch it real quick.
Yeah. And then going from there, it was just honestly a super proud day for us. We got shouted out by one of the main BGC casters and a few other huge names in the community, just kind of congratulating us on the look of the stream and the quality, and and even the casters. And once we were like halfway into the day, I was just like, we did it, like Papa, we did it. So not just us, but everybody involved in the stream. Purple Cliff helped us out a few times, and the other way around as well. And it was just great experience.
I was kind of surprised by how fast the VGC was running versus the TCG. What was your thought about that?
Well, I mean, again, we didn't really know VGC. It just seems like the rounds, even though they are 50 minutes, go by a lot faster. Like, I don't know if the DDG guys have any input on why that is, or if there's shorter time. But yeah, we were just flying through the day. There was less people as well, so we had 7 rounds in total versus.
We ended up having 7 rounds. Yep.
Versus the TCG's 9, so that's why we ended that day so fast.
Yeah, but we were going to lunch an hour early, and we knew we were going to have that many rounds before lunch also.
True.
I think part of it is like they get 50-minute time limit, but
Mhm.
everybody finishes before 50 minutes. So as soon as everyone is done, they're like, all right, well, we have the pairings. Let's start
On to the next round.
Yeah, on to the next round.
Mhm.
Like, there's no reason
fair.
There's no reason to make everyone wait a half an hour when everyone's ready to go.
True.
So
very cool. Sunday, just top 8, top 4 finals. Our day was done. Was there anything specific in there you wanted to talk about, Papa?
I do want to say the projectors and the TVs alongside of us on the left side, I guess, as we were sitting down. I know VGC didn't have that big of a monitor, but you could hear the people watching it, and the reactions that you could hear from the audience was kind of amazing.
That was beautiful. They're so hyped. Like at Worlds, TCG players will get pretty hyped. But pretty much at any event, when there's a screen with the VGC, they're just like, what? Oh my gosh, And it's just so exciting, and it's an amazing atmosphere to be around. It's just beautiful. I loved it.
It almost makes you want to get good at VGC so that you
Right?
can hear people do
Yeah.
that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I guess if you don't mind us, I mean, I know that was kind of fast, but maybe if chat has any questions for us, and then Papa and let's talk about our favorite moment from that weekend. Because I have mine in my head, but I want to hear what your favorite moment or experience was throughout those days of the PGC side.
I'm gonna have to think of a single one. I mean, there's a lot of them. The commentary
Yeah.
and just the sportsmanship between players. I mean, if they knew they were done, for the game, they were shaking hands. But the memes and the commentary was amazing.
No, that was the commentary. I think would have had to been mine. I didn't tell the DDG guys this yet, but like Sunday morning, Papa and I had a little meeting. Saturday there was some, Twitter drama that did go on. They were new casters. They had never casted an event before, so of course you're going to catch, some flack from the outside community. And I pretty much told them kind of the vision of what DDG is like no one ever was. Like we are from the smaller, and we are trying to grow and change things for the better, and that'll always meet resistance. And I was like, what you guys are doing here are giving those who think they have no chance because they're not these bigger names in the community, you're giving them hope to do what maybe they would like to do someday, motivating them in that way. And I think the pride at the end of the finals, I will never forget it. It was Ryan and then Patrick, I believe.
Yep.
Look in their eyes. You can tell they were just so proud that they had fulfilled something that was a dream of theirs and fulfilled something for their community, even like throughout, getting some flack for it. It was just so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
And like, I think the sentiment of it's a stream, so you have to watch the best players is stupid. Those guys reaching out to those guys at 1-1 right away in round 3 and just finding wacky teams, like, I think is really, really cool. And if someone's gonna criticize me for that, let them. Like, I'm happy that I'm getting it right. Like, I don't care.
Exactly.
And I think that was awesome because, especially because you want to do it early in the day, at the same time, right? You don't want to be in round 7 watching two guys that are 2-4, because they have wacky teams. But just you have these matchups. Why aren't we watching them? Because you've watched these people play. How many times?
Right.
How many times have you watched these guys play Pokemon?
I guess thinking back on it along the same line of them and just being proud of what they accomplished. I remember when the tweet came out, I believe it's from Gabby, right? And as soon as they seen that Gabby tweeted out that they were streaming and stuff, it was like they're starstruck. I think it took them a couple minutes to settle down and be able to handle it.
That was so cool to see. It'd be like us if like we were first time casters and Puka shouted us out for doing a good job. Like, how much would you freak out?
Well, Darren freaks out by showing him burn poison counters, so
That was a whole year ago. I'm a grown man now.
I'll never forget that, I don't think.
Oh man. So that sums up our side of the VDC, I would say.
No, I think you guys.
What did you guys think of like the area itself, like the stream area?
Papa, go ahead. I see.
Honestly, it wasn't bad. I think we could have done it a little bit differently. If Purple's still in chat, I think he'd agree. There's a little bit of a issue with the hype on both sides crossing over into the mics.
Yeah.
But it was just part of it. For the VGC, we didn't have too much of an issue, but right next to us was where the judging area was, and sometimes they got excited, and you could hear them getting excited. There's a few people that were standing outside the curtains, younger kids that would sometimes carry over. But overall, it wasn't bad. We had plenty of space. I think it was good to have the computers in the same area, but I think you almost just have to space out the casters a little bit more, because you don't want to tell them to calm down because you want that hype. I think you want it to translate over into the actual stream side of things, and having to kind of tell them to tone it down. I think we lost a little bit of that in the final top 8 a little bit for the first couple rounds, just because we didn't want to trump over the TCG side of things. As far as the playing area for the players, it was pretty basic. I think in the future, if we went ahead and got to stream again, I think we could dress that up a little bit more.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, sorry, I just want to cut it. What I think would have been optimal, or at least better, was that curtain stanchion between the playing area and the producing area. If we could have taken that player stanchion and moved it 10 feet away, because there was just so much, there was a lot more room in the playing area than what they needed to have. It was huge, just unnecessary. And giving you guys that option to be able to be spaced farther apart would have been a lot better, especially since the players all had white noise anyways.
Yeah, something Purple Papa and I were talking about was at the end was, if we had one more of these extensions, just to paint the picture for you guys listening at home, it was like a large rectangle with a split directly in the middle. If we could have had 2 splits and made the rectangle into thirds where both VGC and TCG players are in the middle and casters are on either side, I think that would have been beautiful, because we wouldn't have feared the other team. Yeah.
You would have needed another person though, wouldn't you have? Another runner, kind of?
Not necessarily. I don't know. We would have needed less cable.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I do think the VGC side, I was really impressed with how things ran. And I know before we were talking about the flack that the community gave a little bit. I mean, the TCG side, it wasn't, every round wasn't best player, top 16 player for TCG either. And the community just responded differently. We started out with Xander Pero, and he was against Tyler. And Tyler's a known player, but not necessarily, a huge player in the game.
Right.
But we had Zach Zamora against somebody else. We had Evil Salad, who, while he's known on Twitch really well, he's not known heavily in the competitive TCG. But there was a lot of times where we just went with fun matchups that the community would enjoy, or that we thought the community would enjoy. There was Lapras streamed, and there was Zach Zamora, for example, who was playing Alolan Executor. That was chosen for the community for the best response. There was a time in round 8 or round 9 where we could have streamed one of our own for a win-in, but we decided, based on the suggestions of Jack and the casters, that we go with what the people wanted to see. So I think it's refreshing to say, hey, why don't we stream, a couple of other people who don't have big names in the community, but maybe a unique team or something like that, just to kind of give the community something a little different. We don't want to go with the same mold. So I don't want to show, as much as I love Sam Chen, I don't want to show him just because he's 2-0 when I could show somebody 2-0 who's playing Alolan Executor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It goes against the mold a little bit, but.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as the TCG stream goes, do you guys want to, because you were there, do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, we can.
Because it was stressful. I mean, there were some stressful situations.
Yeah, on Friday, on Friday was the setup. That was the most stressful day. Again, huge shout out to Purple Cliff. He was the TCG producer. He's here in chat with us tonight. When he's behind the computer, he's an artist. I will say that. But yeah, rewinding to Friday before I get into that on Saturday, there was a lot of issues with some of the cables, some of the cameras, OBS. Let's focus in on probably the biggest question we all have, which is the prize cams that we unfortunately had to take down. Again, just hats off to Darren here. He put in so much work and created honestly a beautiful table to play on. I'm gonna actually pass this off to him if he's okay to talk about this.
I'm so sad, you guys. I put in quite a bit of time and effort and not a small amount of money to make this table. And we get it there and we set everything up and it looks great. And I come back an hour later and Jack breaks the news. OBS can't handle 4 cameras. And I cried. Because I knew that we couldn't have just one prize cam. Yeah. And so we had no prize cams.
And that, like, I feel really bad about it. I take a lot of that on me. I could have very easily plugged 4 cameras into my computer, said, hey, OBS, run all 4 of these at the same time, before Darren did all that work. But, I mean, that's just the kind of thing that, when it's your first time doing it, you don't think about. But I just,
We don't know so the problem with the 4 cameras, we don't know if it was the computer or if it's the program itself, because other casters have had 4 cameras.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just, we don't know. And if we had done more testing, could have saved me some of the effort.
True. I think I was actually trying to research it today. The 4 camera problem was a little older problem in OBS that was actually fixed. Once in a while it'll still have problems with like 3 or more 920s, but we were using cameras of different names, so we should have been okay. But yeah, Purple Clip just typed in chat, it was probably the CPU holding the 3 camera, processing them. That was the issue more than an updated OBS. If it was the older version, it would have been the OBS.
Okay. Regardless, we soldiered on. There was a whole lot of make it work, do what needs to be done. What do I need to get you to make it work?
Yeah, lots of Walmart trips.
Not doing this thing is not an option. Like, how can we make it happen? Like, there was a lot of high tension, a lot of angry feelings all around. Like, it was stressful, you guys. It
was so stressful. I think Friday night we were supposed to go live with the Chaos Tournament. And then a few of us were like, well, maybe it's better to just, make sure we have the stream, for tomorrow. Then I was pulled aside and we're like, we have to go live. So I was like, okay, I go back, talk to Purple, like, we have to go live right now in 5 minutes. Like, let's go. So we ended up just like pretty much clicking the live button, getting a few things together. And chat was kind of just like, why is the sound so low? There's a problem with this. There's a problem with that. Oh my gosh, tomorrow's going to be a disaster, blah, blah, blah. And the next day ends up being one of the best official streams ever. So it was kind of cool, like going from like some of the audience seeing the rush of Friday night, within the stream itself, into like, boom, a beautiful Saturday. So
yeah, like hats off to you guys, Purple Cliff. I'm so proud of you for not just hopping on a plane Friday night. Yeah, I'm
Proud
so
and thankful.
I'm
Yo,
I'm very thankful.
And can we get also a really big shout out to our emergency casters? Our regular casting team was not around on Friday for the Chaos tournament, so Rahul Reddy and his friend
Oh,
Ty.
yeah.
I don't know Ty's last name, and I'm super sorry about that. But Rahul and Ty, you guys just. I asked you for a favor and literally no hesitation. Yeah, I can do it. And that, like, I'll never forget you guys helping me out with that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome, guys. Oh man.
So yeah, Friday night ended up being our test stream for Saturday and Sunday, and like Aaron said, Saturday we broke records. Like we became like no one ever was for a non-TPCI stream. We did it.
Mhm.
Throughout the whole day, Saturday, and Sunday too. Like once we were just about done, when the finals were over, I mean, I was so emotional. Like
Yeah.
I was just like fighting back tears every time I thought about it. Like I can't believe this happened.
I think with the TCG stream, my most emotional moment, and for anyone that was around, they saw it, but it was round 6 when we streamed Evil Salad. We got Thomas on stream, and Thomas, as a lot of you guys know, he has a huge Twitch following when it comes to Pokemon, and I remember standing at the booth watching him play the game. I just saw the number kept creeping up and up and up. And in the middle of game 2 that he was playing, we hit 1,005 viewers. And having that 4-digit number on the viewer count, I just got so hyped, right? I was like, oh, I had to tell everybody. and like, that was probably like the best I felt throughout the whole weekend. Is that was just like heck yeah, kind of a thing. And it was awesome. It was so cool. Yeah, Sierra's sitting there in the booth watching it happen, and I'm like, oh my god, it's happening. And then she took a picture of me with a computer and 1,000 viewers, and I'm like, yes.
The most emotional part, the most emotional part for me was Friday night after the stream attempt for the Chaos tournament. Jimmy Ballard comes walking by. He's the tournament organizer, and we all adore him. And I'm like, Jimmy, I'm so sorry. And he said, don't say sorry. It's not over yet. And the next day he came over to me and he gave me a big hug and he said, you guys did it. And I'm like, Jimmy, no, don't do this. Don't do this, Jimmy. No, it was amazing. It meant a lot. So.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think we all went into it, going back to last week's podcast, talking about what we were concerned about. Like the stream was our main concern, and while not everything went perfectly, which you can never anticipate or expect, in the end, everything went wonderfully.
There's the picture.
That's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Ty's. Or who is that? What's that guy's name again?
That was the Adler, the guy that smashed Thomas. Unfortunately, most emotional point was when Doug got a photo of me smashing a sub into my mouth with no hands while trying to edit things in OBS.
Oh, it's purple.
Oh, I can't wait for that picture to go up.
I'm ready.
Yeah, Jack was awesome. I remember sitting there on Friday night, freaking out. First of all, about the Chaos tournament, like we got through that okay, and then after we were done and we were told to leave, I remember sitting there in the stream area where we're all just kind of having our little meeting, talking about everything that needs to be done and everything that needs to go together perfectly, and I remember just being like, Jack, I know you're, like, thinking to myself, not out loud, Jack, I know you're good, but nobody's like this good. Like nobody can get everything ready in 45 minutes. Like he was talking about adding like everything Saturday morning and getting it all done. I was like, there's no way. And then Saturday morning came around, and I was like, I'm just gonna leave the stream area alone right now and just focus on the booth. And then he did it. And I was like, wow, okay. That's super impressive. We definitely luck out having like friends like Papa and Aaron and Jack. Like that's
Oh, easy.
we are so lucky. So
Extremely.
lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Any additional questions about the actual stream or any last minute things you guys want to say about it?
Yes, one thing. Next time, for whoever ends up helping us produce this stream, there will be a way for the producer to have 2 monitors in front of them and a TV to be mirrored for the casters. So, make everything put everything on easy mode.
We learned a lot this weekend. A lot.
Oh my gosh, so much. So between the 3 of you and you guys rock.
Would you guys do it again?
100%. I told Dan right before I left his house on Tuesday. I looked at him and said, "Thank you and DGG for giving me like the chance to help out. Like I found my passion again, and it's like through live content. And you guys all saw me early January. I was just like I didn't know where to go, and for some reason everything just snapped." Came full circle from my film school days. I was like, I have passion again in something, and it was a beautiful time. Papa.
Oh, I'd definitely do it again. I'd be a little bit more prepared going into it, and I'd have a backup plan for everything. But yeah, I'd love to do it again.
Yeah. But
Awesome.
I like it.
Jack,
I like it.
Jackson, if you're in chat, would you do it again? Darren, would you do it again?
Not if I had to do Jack's job.
No. Danny?
I'm out.
Oh. Oof.
Not gonna lie, I was freaking out. Oh my goodness. No, I mean definitely
Cliff
like
S.
it was so overwhelming, but it was worth it. When it all came together, it was worth it.
Absolutely.
It's just, we took on a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that the only thing that I really would have changed outside of being more prepared, and I did have a mod team in place for the event, but like for chats, just having more mods available for both sides.
Mhm. Yeah, that was definitely a problem for both sides. I feel at certain times in the day. Yeah, that's a good point. Purple brings up another. Maybe you guys want to talk about this more because you guys know them better. But it was awesome meeting all of the TCG casters, and they did amazing. I don't know if you guys want to talk about them for a second, but they just killed it.
Yeah.
So I was listening. I've been editing and getting ready to post all of the rounds from this weekend onto YouTube, and I just finished up processing all of day one, and holy smokes, I'm really jealous of everyone that got to sit at home and actually like watch the stream and listen to these guys in real time. They killed it. They're naturals. Like it's incredible. It was I mean, untouchable. All 4 of them were amazing. Man, no complaints at all. Everything about the things that our casters did, perfect. And the lunch Q&A, I don't know whose idea that was. Was that Jack's idea? That was perfect. That lunch Q&A, I also clipped out and will be uploaded to YouTube.
That's awesome.
I think that like when the day was over on Sunday and I I brought all the casters aside separately and just talked to them about how everything went. Talked to them about what they would have liked us to do differently, what they liked about this stream. Because, for Travis and Russ, it was the first time they had ever commentated. So, it was a little bit harder for them because they didn't have something to compare it to. But Kirk and Jeff, this was the second time they both had done it. They both said that, we did so awesome for them, and it was great to hear. And for all of you wondering, any events that we do in the future, all 4 of them will be invited back to commentate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, shout out to them. They did an outstanding job and super entertaining. The feedback that we've received so far is outstanding.
and that's same to the VGC guys too.
Yep.
The 3 of those that did day 2, they'll all be invited back also. Anytime we do an event, they're more than welcome to be along with us.
They were so good.
So,
Yeah.
Cool.
cool.
All right, well, we can talk about the team stages a little bit to kind of go over things. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this because it's fairly quick. First of all, the team stage was amazing, and I don't know if it's something that we can do all the time, but just being able to give our team, who we love dearly, they're an amazing team, the opportunity to basically have the VIP treatment for the entire weekend. They got there, they went up, they sat down right next to us right away. They had their own area where they didn't have to move the entire weekend, and they were basically the focal point of the tournament, which is super cool. Being able to give that to them, and even so Jimmy Taylor actually lives decently close to me, and he stopped in to my work earlier today just to say thank you again, because he appreciated the entire weekend, the fact that they didn't have to move and look for pairings, and they got this nice lunch, which we didn't even get.
Yeah,
But
right.
they did. It's so cool for them. They got this nice lunch that they got to go to, and they just seemed to really appreciate it, and it was a cool thing to do. We originally thought there was going to be more teams there, but there's just been a lot of I don't know, the team scene has just kind of,
Well,
I don't want to say dissolved, but it keeps separating. It's so dynamic right now where there's constantly players who are leaving teams, and I think that we are very blessed with the players that we have on our team because for the most part, it's been the same group of guys who are just, that's why we were so careful when we chose our team because our goals aligned so well with them. But it was nice just to have them right next to us all weekend, seeing a couple of them get into day 2 and just really support us and come into the booth and help us out and visit, and I think they did a really great job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but I could say, hey, come stand behind the booth so I can go to the bathroom real quick or something, they were all more than willing to help out with us doing the vending part of things, and it was crazy. It is so cool.
I thought it was really cool. I got to meet a lot of our team for the first time. I've just kind of been the shadowy backdoor owner of DDG for a lot of these players. It was really great to get to shake some hands and make friends. I love these guys. It's amazing. It's so cool.
Yeah, a couple of them even told me, they're like, if you guys don't do team stages for us, we're getting VIP anyways, because totally worth.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think it's something that, and I don't think it's going to be ran at every event because it's difficult, but I think that being able to give them that opportunity, and like I said before, the idea that the event is basically focused around them is just something super cool that we're able to provide as a way of saying hey, thank you outside of, whatever else it is that we cover for them, but just a way to say thank you for what they've given us as far as representing our brand goes in a way that we have come to expect, in a way that we've worked so hard over the past 2 years to build up. That means the world, I think, and I think it's just the entire community in general has kind of really opened up to letting us in. And I think that's super cool. A big part of that is because of, well, first of all, like you guys, like Papa and Aaron and Jack and everybody, you know, as far as the content side goes, but also from our team. And we have a big team, and we tricked them into liking us,
Gotcha.
suckers. But yeah, it was the Chaos tournament was cool. Some of those rules that they were throwing out there were insane and gross and super funny, entertaining. But yeah, I'm really happy that we did the team stage. I don't think we used it completely to our advantage, but I think part of that dealt with time and what we were up against as far as getting everything else ready, and also finances as far as what we would be able to invest, or yeah, I guess invest in order to return a profit on it isn't something that we were really able to capture. I'm trying to think of how you could monetize a team stage like that into a profitable level, and that's something that I've been thinking of a little bit. I don't know off the top of my head what you can do.
Because we did have the option to be able to sell at the team stage as well, but I mean, we just had so much room in our booth that we didn't need to. You know, I could have gave, like, hey, Caleb, here's the keys for the box. You know, go sell some t-shirts or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the team stage is something that was really simple. There's not really a whole lot of things that I think we need to recap as far as that goes. I still like the idea of a team stage, but I think as far as like from a repping standpoint goes for a business to have a team stage, yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing to commit to, especially frequent, times a year, a frequent amount of times a year. But I think from a player standpoint, it's really cool. Yeah.
Totally agree.
I don't think we really need to say a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
No.
Quick thanks to Mila for hosting the stream with 26 viewers and the rating party of 23. Much appreciated.
It's a raid party.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Thanks, Mila. I got to meet Mila for the first time over the weekend. I've never
Yeah.
met her before.
Oh,
Same.
Guys, Mila gives the best hugs.
Mila's great.
Better than
She's-
Jimmy Ballard did?
Okay. Second
We
best
won't
hug.
tell him.
They both meant something different. It's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hug people that often, so it's just nice. I like hugs.
Darren, I will drive to your house right now and hug you.
You won't.
Bet.
No, he won't. There's no way. Before we jump into open discussion, Dan, why don't you go over, and Aaron too, why don't you go over not the last 18 hours of your life, but the previous 28 hours before that?
Oh my god.
Because I think it's important to bring note to that, because that was as much fun as we had in Madison, and as great as Madison was, as proud as I am about Madison, it perils? It's nothing in
Pales.
I've done that before on this exact podcast.
Yep.
Pales in comparison to what happened on Monday, starting at noon until Tuesday, ending at 4.
Like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, God, I'm gonna tear up again, but literally the proudest moment of my life. Aaron and I woke up at about, what do you think, 10 a.m. on Monday probably, and said,
Yeah,
all
it's
right,
around that
all
time.
the computer stuff is still in my car because we were out from the night before, and there's no way we would have been able to carry it all up the stairs without dropping it. And so we're like, all right, it's 10 a.m. We better go get, my computer that we need to stream from. And so we start setting everything up. We start the stream at noon, and we probably don't even have it like completely ready until about 1, as far as the way everything was supposed to look. But we set up a donation goal of $1,500 for all 100% of the money to be given away, or to be donated to DefeatGBM, and just partnering with the Nick Bailey Open on that. And we hit our goal at 7 p.m. Monday, 7 hours into the stream. We still had 21 hours to go, and we hit our goal. And we're sitting there. It's like we can't leave it there, right? We have to race it. And we doubled it to 3,000, and with about 2 minutes left to go in stream, Larry Dog came in. He had already at this point donated a little over $100, and he dropped the last $173.26 that we needed to get to 3,000.
Oh my gosh.
And throughout the course of the stream, Larry Dog, for the stream at least, was our biggest donator with about $340, which is just incredible. Like, he gave over 10% of what we did. And not only did we have the slightly over $3,000 come in from the stream, but we had 2 private parties match our first $1,500 goal. So as a total, we raised $6,013.37.
Which is quadruple the amount of what was raised last year.
Yep. The tournament did a little over $1,500 alone, and we, like Danny said, we literally quadrupled that number. And I cried when that last donation came in. I was crying on stream. I couldn't. The emotions were just.
I was watching you cry on stream.
Aaron had left at that point.
Same.
Aaron had left about an hour. We had done all the the raffles. We gave away a booster box, a t-shirt, and a hoodie. We gave away some sleeves, a plush, and a deck box. We gave away 20 playmats. We gave away like 250 codes, and it just.
The woo trains.
Woo!
Oh, woo!
I turned that off, you guys. I turned that off for this. Gotcha. We weren't about to go through a podcast of woos. As fun as that would have been, but it just like the emotions were so big, and to every single person who donated or hung out or did anything. Well, the woo will come back next time, like the next time I stream. That's a new thing every single time, except for when we're podcasting. But
yeah.
But it just, all of those emotions hitting me at one time, I couldn't handle myself. And
Would you do it again?
yeah, of course, absolutely. I think that
Would you prepare differently?
well, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't go out drinking the night before, for starters.
Oh, that's smart.
And I probably wouldn't do it right on the heels of a 3-day tournament that we basically ran. I did have to get a few hours of sleep. Aaron took a quick nap while I almost fell asleep at my computer. Thank you to Squeaks, Sean. He played Stardew Valley with me for a few hours in the middle of the night so that I wouldn't fall asleep at my computer. So thank you to him for helping me out. But, and then I went and slept for, 5 hours. I was like, all right, it's 7 a.m. I'll wake up at noon. I'll come back for the last 4 hours. And, I had to hit snooze a few times. So I got up here at about 12:30, hung out for the last 3.5, and it was a perfect ending to the most incredible 5 days.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was a great time. Those 5 hours you were sleeping were probably the 5 most embarrassing hours of my life because I hadn't turned on like PTCGO for about 3.5-4 months. I'm struggling through a deck, and Natalie Champagne's in chat, just like her and a few
Aaron,
other
you have to
players
play
are just like
energies.
watching me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm happy the pros watch me, and I'm making displays all over.
That's funny.
Brooke, thank you for that. Appreciate it. But it the best ending.
Mhm.
Literally,
That was
like,
great.
my family and Samantha, I love you guys, but that was the best 5 days of my life, hands down.
Awesome. All right, well, we can move into open discussion then and wrap this up. I don't even know what to say about the last like 6 days because it was so like I usually have words to say about a lot of stuff, probably more than people want to hear because I like to provide insight on things, and I don't know how you guys feel, coming home from Madison and coming off of the charity stream and things like that, but like my mind is just it's just running nonstop about everything and all the potential possibilities. And I sent out a tweet, I think on Sunday. It was either Sunday or Monday, saying something like, "Oh, if you thought this event was big, just wait." And I think the three of us, being Darren, Dan, and myself, know that like we did this event big, and it's really nothing compared to what is going to come. And this is just really the beginning, and the growth that we experienced over the past 5 days is huge. The imprint that I think that we've left on the community is everything that we could have wanted and everything that we could have asked for. I think we've set ourselves up really well as far as momentum goes to kind of carry into, the remainder of this season and then moving forward in the next season when there's going to be even bigger and better things. I think we're really zoning in on that goal of opening up an actual physical storefront and doing it a lot differently than what you might experience at your local league currently. I mean, I want to get to the point where people pass 2 or 3 leagues to come to our league. And I mean,
Though,
we're gonna have to expand more. We're gonna have to expand our reach as far as games go and get into Magic and get into Yu-Gi-Oh and get into Dragon Ball Super and do some other things. Obviously, Pokemon will be, our main grace, and we'll figure stuff out as we go. But we lean a lot on great people, and we're very lucky to have met so many great people who appreciate what we're trying to do and appreciate what we're trying to accomplish. And I think the biggest issue that I'm running into is going to sound pathetic, but I've done a lot of stuff before in my life as far as like business attempts, and I've always believed in myself, and I've been very proud of. I sound so cocky. I've always thought like I'm a smart person. Like I've always thought I have good business acumen, and I research a lot of stuff and I read a lot, and I've always prided myself on like being as good as I possibly can, and I've just never succeeded. And I'm not saying that this is succeeding yet, but this is damn close, and this is as close as I've ever been. And I think it freaks me out because I'm like, this is bigger than I've ever been able to do before, and this is better than what I've ever been able to do before. And we've preached so many times about what we want to accomplish, and I'm scared to death, and I have no idea what to do. And usually I do. Usually I have like some insight or something that I can be like, hey Dan, hey Darren, let's try this, or what about this? And then they're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, let's go with that. I've got nothing right now, and I just feel like I'm lost because I don't know, I've got to wrap my head around this entire thing and decide where to go and what to approach first and how to approach it, and at the same time not lose the momentum that we have. And then, we've got 5 gazillion cards that are just sitting in the living room right now. And I'm like, well, yeah, that still needs to be done. But it's like, I don't know. I'll let somebody else kind of talk about open discussion. Ooh.
Yo, real quick,
So much.
Divvy, thank you for the raid. Appreciate that a lot. Welcome in, everybody. No, as far as like open discussion, like and Danny said it, and I feel like we say it all the time, where this is just the beginning, and like it still holds true. This is just the beginning, and I'm very excited for when we start saying like this is the next beginning, you know? And it's super super good that it just feels super good that this is finally that snowball we've been waiting so long to push down the mountain. I think is finally fell, and it's incredible to be a part of. It just and Aaron and Papa, you guys, like having you guys to be along for the snowball ride is perfect, and everyone else who's helped out in any amount of way, whether it's you spent 20 cents and bought a code, or you spent $1,000 and bought a bunch of bulk GXs from us, or you know,
Adam Smith?
yes, I'm talking about Adam, or whether it's you produced one of our streams, or whether it's you told your friend about our podcast, or you wore one of our t-shirts to Walmart one day. Like, it just, all of you have had a hand in what we've done so far and what we're going to continue to be doing. So thank you.
I'm going to follow that up with a request.
Ooh.
I want to change Dan fans to the Wu Train clan.
So my sub club, instead of the Pokemon Dan Club, they are now the Wu Train clan.
Yes.
All right.
There we go.
I can deal. Done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wu Train clan. Woo!
I thought of that a couple minutes ago, and I'm like, I gotta wait until my turn.
Yo, I wish I had the alerts turned on.
OG Grover, thank you so much. Thank you for joining the Wu Train clan.
I was just gonna say that. Thanks for the Twitch Prime sub, OG Grover. Much appreciated. Did you guys know that with Twitch Prime, you can connect your... With Amazon Prime, excuse me. You can connect your Twitch account to get Twitch Prime and get one free sub every single month to use on your favorite content creators.
On your favorite Wu Train?
For free. Oh,
Can
that was
you
a
guys
bad
imagine
sell.
the next time you guys have a booth now?
Woo!
All the woos as everybody's walking
yes.
by.
Yes. So when you go to your next Pokemon Regional and we're there, we know you're coming.
We'll actually give you, if you woo to
train.
us when you get up to the booth, we will give you 3% off your order.
Oh wow, that's really
That's
nice.
so generous of you.
Interesting.
Or you could do it like a reward, like Baskin Robbins does, or who is it? This is not Baskin Robbins.
You get
Cold
a
Stone, where
free,
sing
you get some
song.
free ice cream.
No, yeah, like then you guys. Like,
Darren
whenever
will
you
sing
make
Shania
sale on
Twain
that
for
merch,
you.
Go,
Oh.
woo!
Darren will
So,
sing you some Shania.
For those that don't know, to help raise money for the fight against brain cancer, I sang some Shania Twain.
It was so good. Oh,
And for even better
Yeah, that was
context,
awesome.
it was "Man, I Feel Like a Woman."
That was the song. Yep, man, I feel like a woman. I sang it. I really tried. I
want
put
it.
some.
I kind of want to hear it again.
I put nah.
It-
I
That's
think
so
we
nobody,
need to.
nobody clipped it.
Are you kidding
No,
me?
I mean,
of
it's
all
still on the
things,
VOD.
yeah, it's on the VOD, but nobody clipped
Incredible. Well, head back to the VOD, you guys.
it. So
If
she
you can
bangs.
find it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm gonna finish off my open discussion saying thank you so much to everyone. Adam, you
Adam.
made this weekend happen. He was a huge part of our success this weekend, and I owe him everything. So thank you, Adam.
The best
Agreed.
part with Adam is that he doesn't really even know Pokemon. He's just
No.
so willing to do whatever he
has
needs
no
to do to
idea.
help out. and it's amazing. He just no questions asked. Every
Turns-
time
he
I
turns-
asked Adam for something, it was yes, yes, yes. It was never, oh, can someone else do it or whatever. It just Adam was amazing.
Turns to
He
me.
was there, open to close.
Which one's a Galissapod?
In his defense, I also had to ask somebody that when they wanted a Galissapod plushie. I was like, that doesn't look like the card. Rip.
But yeah, Adam was awesome.
Papa, Aaron, anything you want to say for open discussion?
Papa, go ahead.
It was an honor doing the stream. I'm glad that you asked me to do it when I was walking out Sunday. It was such an high. It was pretty emotional. A lot of stress, ups and downs, but overall, leaving there, I was floating as I was leaving. I really didn't want to leave. Actually, it took us a couple hours to leave, but we finally left. But shout out to Jimmy for running such a great event. Always does. Everything's on time. Amazing guy. And I think the whole group has the same idea and the same core that they want at these events. And I think that's why Madison is probably one of the best regionals there is.
Mm-hmm. A lot of what I have to say is what Papa said. Like, huge thank you to first you guys, bringing me on, helping me find, my passion again. To Jimmy, and going off what Dan said about the snowball, like, there's very few, areas in life where you get to witness a change in industry. And for some reason, I think what you guys are doing, what Jimmy's doing, is going to be a shift to something totally new and really special for the IRL gaming side, I should say, like the cards, something we need, something we've been waiting on. Just thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Dan and Darren, any final thoughts? Or are you guys good to go?
Nah, we're gonna get way too onion cutting factory up in here if I keep talking. So.
All right. Cool. Well then, Dan, you can take us home.
Alrighty. So, you guys, if you enjoyed episode number 87 of Dead Draw Gaming, a Pokemon TCG podcast like no one ever was, make sure to hit the like button down below and share the podcast with all of your friends. That's all we have for you this week. Huge shout outs to the two guests that had joined us tonight, AaronLive and PapaBlastoise. Means a whole heck of a lot for you guys to be here. And one more shout out to Purple Cliff, the TCG stream producer from over the weekend. Means a whole heck of a lot that you guys were willing to put your lives on hold for a week and do what you needed to do to help us. But other than that, you guys, that's all we have for you this week. So for Danny, for Darren, I am Dan. We will see you next time.